Cubs keep stacking wins. Bears injury news, and we preview the Bears offensive line.
Yeah, Northside noise, Shot City Den, Joey and Sam, lock it in, wind blow all the spin, cut talk, yeah, tap in, and with a heartbeat, couple quick.
Welcome to the Shy City Den. I am Joey Glickman alongside Sam Van Cleve. We're breaking down the biggest stories, biggest games, and all things Chicago sports. If it's happening in Chicago, we're talking about it. Let's get into it, Sam. We are going to talk about the Cubs. Keep stacking wins, taking 2 out of 3 in Kansas City. We talk about a lot of Bears' unfortunate injury news at Hallis Hall, and then we preview, honestly, my favorite position group to preview, and that is the offensive line. Sam, let's start in the north side of Chicago. Cubs head out to Kansas City and take 2 out of 3 against a really poor club in Kansas City. Starting with Friday, it got kind of dicey in the end, but the Cubs hung on, winning 6-4. Jacob Webb has been one of the best relievers maybe in all of baseball. Saturday, Clay Holmes didn't look too hot in his first start as a Cub. Was definitely shaky, but coming off a broken fibula and his first start back with a new team, you got to give him one start. And then Sunday, they absolutely cruised. A lot offensively. Bush 3 hits, Bregman 3 hits, Amaya 3-run homer. So a lot to cheer about on Sunday. Sam, what did you think of Gausman and Clay Holmes? I think Gausman pitched pretty well, and I think you got to cut some slack for Clay Holmes.
Yeah, agreed. First big league start since the broken fibula incident back in the springtime. But yeah, definitely. Give this guy some grace here coming back from a pretty devastating injury, Clay Holmes. So really not too concerning for me. A good sign with Clay is that he was getting the ball on the ground a lot and giving our infielders opportunity to make plays where he kind of didn't have that support in New York, obviously, with the Mets defense behind him. Coming here is a big difference. So, yeah, definitely give Clay Holmes some grace. But on the other side, Gauzy looked great. Started off a little shaky the first 2 innings, touched around a little bit. Base hits here and there, balls in the gap here and there. A lot of hard contact the first 2 innings. But I feel like after that, he kind of really settled in as the game progressed. You saw the fastball work off of the splitter. I think he only needs a 2-pitch mix, but it's one of the best 2-pitch mixes in all of baseball, really. So I thought from the second inning on, Gauzy looked great. Excuse my dog in the background as well.
I can't hear your dog, to be honest. Yeah, I think Jed last week made these moves strategically with one of the best defenses, maybe in baseball history. Kevin Gausman and Clay Holmes gets a lot of ground balls. Dansby and Nico are one of the best shortstop and second baseman to do it defensively. And it showed on Friday. Like Kevin kind of struggled early, but he found a groove later on and pitched pretty well for what it's worth. And you're gonna, when you come to the Cubs, you're gonna get some run support no matter what. I thought there was a real chance that they were going to win that game on Saturday night, but Clay Holmes struggled. His command was not there. He didn't have a lot of life to his changeup at all, and people are judging him off of one start. I wouldn't say that you should not do that with the circumstances coming off the IL after 3 months on the injured list, and Yeah, overall, really, really nice weekend.
Agreed, and I feel like an underrated aspect of this team as of late, and a lot of the success I feel like has been attributed to our good starting pitching and our quality starting pitching. Matter of fact, as there goes my dog in the background again. But really, 2 out of the 3 starts in Kansas City, our starters were able to go 7 plus. That's great work, especially for where we're at in the season, where our starting pitching health is at, where our bullpen health is at. It's really crucial for these guys to go in there and eat innings, and that's what they've done. That's what Boyd has done. I feel like Boyd's last 4 starts, he's gone 6 innings or more in each of those starts. Really, ever since Boyd has come back from his little knee problem from getting hurt from playing with the kids, he's been absolutely lights out for us, which has been an awesome development.
It's been great. Um, and, you really look at the numbers this year, it's gotten to a point where he's similar to last year, his numbers. And that's all you can ask for from Matty Boyd. He looked fantastic on Sunday. He gave up that 2-run homer to Starling Marte, but that was it. That was it. His velo was up, and he looks really good. I have full trust in him in a 3-game potential wild card series, and I trust Kevin Gausman and Clay Holmes as well, going up potentially against Christopher Sanchez and Zach Wheeler. I think with this offense, I think they can go toe-to-toe with the Phillies. The Phillies haven't been good by any means recently. They might not even make the postseason.
And I feel like a team like the Phillies, like yeah, they have an offense maybe that's on par with our offense, but like our defense compared to the rest of the league, we clear so many other teams and just being able to save defensive runs, right? So if we put up 5 to 6 runs a game in the playoffs, like it's going to be hard for teams to really compete with us down the stretch. Because I mean, we're going to save runs on defense. We're going to pitch our asses off. We have a deep starting rotation now after the deadline. Hopefully, a deep bullpen with more reinforcements. Scheduled to keep coming back. Saw Shelby Miller as of late is looking good down in the minors and in some rehab starts, so that's positive to see. But the more reinforcements we keep on, adding back to this group, the more confident I'm going to, keep getting as we get closer to October here.
Right. And if it was a 3-game series right now as it stands, it's probably going to be Matty Boyd. I think Matty Boyd gets the ball for game 1. Just with his experience, with his tenure in the Cubs, he has postseason experience last year. And then I think it follows with Kevin Gausman having World Series experience, pitching in the postseason, and then probably either Clay Holmes or Shota Imanaga gets game 3 potentially. But that's thinking too far ahead. And overall, just recapping the entire series, they took care of business against a really bad team, and that's what good teams do. They take care of really bad teams. They had a tough loss on Saturday night, and good teams respond, and the Cubs did that on Sunday. Michael Busch really starting to show some signs. 3 hits from him. Alex Bregman starting to find a groove again. 3 hits from him. And then Miguel Amaya, who's been really, really good this second half, with Carson Kelly kind of being in a little bit of a rut himself. He hit a massive 3-run homer and a long home run. I think you could have hit that out with the pitch that was thrown to him. And then I just want to touch briefly real quick, kind of work backwards. Jacob Webb, Sam, has been really a fun and exciting watch this year. You called it about right as we started this program that Jacob Webb was going to find it, and I'm not going to say
He's arguably been the guy in the bullpen this year.
I'm not going to say it because if I say it, he's going to blow the game tomorrow night. But he hasn't let up a run in a really, really long time. And if the All-Star game was next week, he'd be an All-Star. And, his ERA is well under 3. I don't know what his ERA is exactly. But just with the injuries that have happened in this bullpen, Milner, the Palencias of the world, the Matons being a joke, Hunter Harvey being a non-factor, like all these guys that were supposed to be big parts of this bullpen all go down and are non-factors. And Jacob Webb just really is fitting this bullpen fantastically and has been really, really great. 2.44.
So, I mean, that's incredible for a guy who we didn't really, at the start of the year, didn't think was going to be in the role he's currently in. So now that kind of brings a question to mind for you, Joe, is do you think Jacob Webb sticks in the closer role? And if he does, what does the 7, 8, 9 look like down in September, down in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's for certain that Jacob Webb is his closer for the rest of this campaign, unless he really starts to struggle, which I don't see any signs of him doing that. And I guess we'll see where these chips, will fall. Will Palencia be the guy that he was last year? I mean, he's pitched in only 12 games this year. Will Milner be that guy that he was in May and early parts of June? And what are you going to get from Justin Steele and Ben Brown? Can they come back and be high leverage guys? I think the 7, 8, 9, or 7, 6, 7, and 8 guys, 8 inning guys are all up in the air, and I think it's a real opportunity for guys to show out and prove to Craig that they're given the opportunity to pitch in high leverage. And I think Milner has kind of, proved that he can pitch in high leverage out of those mix of guys. Daniel Palencia.
I feel like
Go ahead.
maybe Milner close to like more playoff time. I feel like Milner will be more of like a specialist type of guy, whereas he definitely does have experience in high leverage spots. But like, I would more so save Milner for like a string of lefties and like, for example, the Padres last year down at the bottom of the order, they had a string of lefties with Gavin Sheets, Cronenworth, all those guys. So maybe do you save Milner for that type of situation where it could be the 4th inning, it could be the 7th, it could be the 8th. You don't really know, but you're going to throw him in there when we have, 3 matchups that we like.
Right. And you know who was pitching in those situations last year? Caleb Thielbar. Sam, let's talk about that real quick. Caleb Thielbar struggles once again on Friday. You like that transition, by the way?
Silky smooth, baby.
Was that his last outing as a Cub? I think once Milner comes back, I think he's the candidate to pack his bags.
I feel like he's been in trouble for quite some time now. I mean, this whole year really feels like Thielbar has struggled a lot, and he struggled with fastball command, right?
Right.
Because like you look at his success last year, and I feel it goes so much due to in part he was placing the fastball. Really, he had that thing on a string last year. He was, high zone, sticking right at the letters, and then he would, throw the hammer curve right off of that, get him to chase well. So he had the curve and he had the 4-seam working so well off of each other, and I just don't think anything's really in sync for him this year as it's looked. This whole year really, not just the second half, but the first half as well. So I think it is about time for Thielbar to, pack your bags and get on moving. Because like you said, like we've been talking about, reinforcements are on the way. And I think they could play a bigger part than we honestly realize here down the stretch.
Right. Okay, that's enough Royals talk. Cubs have a 3-game series coming up against the Nats with Shota Imanaga going tomorrow. David Peterson will go on Wednesday, and then Kevin Gausman makes his second start as a Cub on Thursday, which means Javier Assad, who pitched yesterday, is now out of the rotation, which is tough to see because he's really stepped up big for this group, and it's really tough to see. Sam, the expectation is to win this series and maybe sweep them. if you want to play, get greedy. I believe it's going to be Jake Irvin on Monday, or excuse me, on Tuesday, and then Wednesday. Actually, I take that back. Tuesday, no, Tuesday tomorrow will be Jake Irvin, and Wednesday will be none other than the man himself, Miles Michaelis, and
It's
Thursday
BP.
Thursday will be the guy who started opening day for the Nats against the Cubs, Cade Cavalli. Um, Sam, you got to find a way to win this series. Keep stacking wins.
Got to. And we need revenge from that opening day series, right? Because I didn't forget. Did you forget? I sure as hell didn't forget about that series. That was a sour way to kind of begin the year for us. So I want to get back here as we go to DC. But this is a DC team that I feel like has surprised a ton of people this year. Their bats have been outstanding. Outside of Otani and Pete, they probably have the third place guy for MVP right now in
And maybe
James
the
Wood.
fourth
That
one's
that
back.
and maybe the fourth place in CJ Abrams too. Those two kids are swinging the bat right now. So this lineup is going to be definitely not fun to kind of work our way around. But it is a series that again we need to take advantage of on the road. And we just flat out need at this point in the year we just got to stack those series wins, right? So the more we stack, I feel like the better our odds are of knocking that first place lead of the Brewers down from 4.5 to 0.
Yeah. Cubs are 5.5 back of Milwaukee as it stands. On Monday night, it is now 15 minutes until first pitch in San Diego. And they got a tough stretch ahead of them. They got 3 with San Diego and 4 with LA. If there was a week to gain some ground, it'd be this week. So with 3 against the
100%.
Nats and 3 with the Cardinals. So we'll see what happens. Maybe next time we talk, Cubs will be gaining some ground on the Brewers. All right, let's move on from Wrigley over to the lakefront, or should I say, I guess Lake Forest. Now that it's training camp, some tough news to hear. Luther Burden dealing with a groin injury. He's expected to miss all of training camp, but is expected to return week 1. Cam Lewis, thankfully, was back at practice today after going down on Saturday as well. That was great to see. Xavier Thomas, who went down on Sunday, was back in practice today, which was also great to see. And they didn't practice today, but it was some noteworthy news. Braxton Jones, Kyler Gordon, and who else am I missing? Montez Sweat. They didn't practice today, but they were signing autographs with a bunch of kids. They were present for that Stevenson practice today. More so Kyler Gordon. I haven't heard his name at all, so it was good to hear his name being in the mix for
And
something.
he hasn't even been present at all. So that is good. Usually you have a guy working with the soft tissue, they'll be off to the side working with, a head strength and conditioning coach or whatever, trying to get, you know, their soft tissue resolved. And Kyler just flat out hasn't been on the field anywhere. We've been talking about that. We talked about that yesterday before the training camp got canceled, unfortunately. But that is honestly just great news to see Kyler on the field, just because we know his struggles in the past with soft tissue and being able to stay on the field. So, for one, that's step one with Kyler. Get him on the field, get him in uniform.
Yeah.
We got a long way to go, but that is some good news.
What's your concern? You know, it's expected for Luther to be back week 1, and I'm assuming Braxton and Tez will be back for week 1 as well. But more so Luther, do you think it's a big factor that he's going to miss all of preseason and pretty much all of training camp?
I mean, big factor. I don't think so because he's had a longer offseason with us than he did last spring. Last spring, him and Colson kind of came in both a little banged up, so they both missed, like the beginning of OTA's rookie mini camp, training camp last year. So I feel like in terms of progress and where he was at last year. I feel like he's ahead. Obviously, not ideal to keep missing training camp from here on out because those are valuable reps that you're going to need come week one. Week one you just want to be in game mode already. Um, but I kind of take everything right now with a grain of salt. I mean, we haven't even reached the first preseason game yet, so I don't feel like it's really fair to me to overreact on something that we shouldn't be overreacting to, because I feel like at this point in camp, every injury news that comes out, every little bit of this guy wasn't seen on the practice field, people tend to freak out, and I get it. I get the area for concern. We're about a month out from week one. Like, we can't have these injuries right now, but it's better to get them out the way, I think. So as long as we're approaching week one and Luther's, all signs are pointing to go, I'm cool, because I know, he's the type of guy that only needs to be on the field to have his presence felt.
I don't think it's going to be that big of a factor with Luther missing preseason.
No.
I don't know. Maybe he'll come back to practice in the first week of September, like the week before game week, just to get ramped up for that game one against Carolina. And then Montez, I'm not really worried. I think he'll be back. My guess is next week. Braxton, I haven't really heard anything on his front. Maybe he probably won't play in the preseason, which, to be honest, that kind of sets him back. That gives a window for someone like Jedrick Wills to step up and maybe start
100%.
left tackle week one. And I think
and from what we've been
on Braxton's side.
From what we've been seeing out of camp as of the first week of pads being popped on, Jedrick Wills has honestly impressed this coaching staff in the first couple weeks of training camp. And if this trend continues with Braxton Jones missing time or getting banged up in practice, I would not be surprised come week one Jedrick Wills is our starting left tackle.
Yeah, and as it stands right now, he is. He will be our starting left tackle week one. And honestly, I'm for it right now. He started at Cleveland. He has some starting experience. He was a first-round pick out of Alabama. And who knows? But sticking on the left tackle side, some positive injury news that we heard today. Ozzy Trapillo is making significant progress after his patellar tendon surgery that he injured in the wild card game against Green Bay. Sam, this is positive. Like, Ozzy Trapillo, if he comes back, let's say around Thanksgiving time, that could be a massive, massive boost for this offensive line.
100%. I mean, we're talking about a month ago. If you would have told me we would potentially be having Ozzy Trapillo for the season, I'd be ecstatic.
Right.
Because, I mean, I thought that this dude was out for the whole entire year. So getting a guy like that back, in the heat of the playoff race as we're gearing up for December ball, that would be huge. I mean, this dude was a pillar for us last year at left tackle. He broke out kind of in the middle of the year towards the back half. Really big statue of the left tackle. I was really impressed with some of his traits that popped up. So I feel like adding him to that left tackle room, back to that left tackle room, matter of fact, will be an absolutely huge boost. But moving forward, I am looking more and more forward to the position battle that's emerged with Jedrick Wills and Braxton Jones, and the position battle that's emerged here at center with Garrett Bradbury and Logan Jones, which I'm a huge fan of both of their style of plays. I think both of their style of play is almost, Ben kind of spoke to it in the press conference last week, but he said, going from Drew Dahlman to Garrett Bradbury has almost been a seamless transition, and Garrett Bradbury has impressed everyone in the building as he's an extremely valuable kind of stretch of field kind of center, and he's very intelligent in the classroom, very intelligent learner, teacher, all of that. So I'm really pleased by the news that's coming out about our offensive line room.
Yeah, And that leads us to previewing the offensive line room. I'm going to read you off the names that will be in the offensive line. Braxton Jones. This is the starting line on the Bears depth chart. Braxton Jones, Joe Thuney, Garrett Bradbury, Jonah Jackson, Ozzie Trapillo, Jordan McFadden, who started the game against the Rams at left tackle, Logan Jones, center out of Iowa, Luke Newman out of Michigan State, Theo Benedette, who played a lot of snaps last year, Karan Amagaji, who I don't think is very good, and then Jedrick Wills, who we just previously talked about. You know, there were some departures, a surprise departure in Drew Dahlman, one of the best centers in all of football, leaves the Bears suddenly and retires. I'm going to say this. This offensive line last year stayed healthy for the most part, and I don't want to put that bad juju in the air, but I don't see all of these guys staying healthy for every single game this year. Like, someone's going to get banged up. That's just the reality of the National Football League. Who's someone that I just named that could step up, if someone were to go down?
Dude, Jordan McFadden stepped up big time in the playoff game against the Rams. I think that's the first guy for me that comes off the head. I feel like, by the way, did Joe Thuney start at tackle and then McFadden get bumped into guard?
Joe Thuney started at left
what
tackle for the Rams game, and McFadden moved to left guard. You're correct.
Because that's what the Chiefs did when they were like depleted at tackle and at offensive line a couple years ago in the playoffs.
Left tackle.
Yeah, they bumped out Thuney, and it ended up working very well for them. So I feel like we saw that, and we were like, oh, Thuney is capable. By the way, absolutely unheard of to be playing guard at an all-pro level and then bump out to left tackle and still play left tackle at an all-pro level. Those are two wildly different positions. I know they're right next to each other on the line, but like technique-wise, call-out-wise, scheme-wise, so different. So just to be able to have a guy like Joe Thuney who can play guard for us at the highest of high levels, and they
ranked him at number 49 in the NFL top 100. That's a joke. That's a joke.
I mean, that's a top 15, top 20 player right there in the league.
A joke.
I mean, I couldn't name you three better guards in the league right now than Joe Thuney. So to be able to have an absolute Iron Man like that on our line, who has the ability to bump out to left tackle in the biggest of games of the year, dude's an Iron Man. Love Joe Thuney. But yeah, Jordan McFadden, I think, underrated. Him, Luke Newman, even Benedict as just like a swing tackle. I know, we're going to start Benedict full-time, obviously, at left tackle. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that because if you saw his tape full-time at left tackle, that dude was getting bullied big time. But I mean, love Benedict just as a depth piece, as like a swing guy. But overall, really, I feel like this is a top 10 group in the league, and I feel like it can be a top 5 run blocking unit as well.
Yeah, I think going into it last year, they were a top 5 offensive line, and I still think with losing Drew Dahlman, I still think this unit is probably like a top 7 offensive line. And Garrett Bradbury has a lot of experience. He started on a team that came out of the AFC last year, played in the Super Bowl last year, has a lot of experience to play ahead.
And played in the division too.
Yeah, with the Vikings. And he has that experience to give to Logan Jones when Logan Jones eventually takes over at center. Could it be this year? I don't know. Potentially, I think Logan Jones could take over. But just with the depth that this offensive line has is, I think, deeper than it was last year. Again, Jedrick Wills you add. If Ozzie Trapillo were to come back, Braxton Jones would be a fine backup And then Theo Benedette would be a fine backup at right tackle. I don't see him playing left tackle anytime soon. And then, like you said, McFadden, man. McFadden's a guy that could slot in if someone were to go down right away. He's a Swiss Army knife as well, can play inside and out. And yeah, I'm excited to see this offensive line play together, and hopefully, man, everyone stays healthy on that offensive line. And we haven't even talked about Darnell Wright. Darnell Wright is one of the best
I know, like
in football. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best in football, if not the best right tackle at his respective position. I mean, he just set a market-setting contract for a right tackle. Most guaranteed money for any offensive lineman contract in NFL history, and the most expensive right tackle contract in NFL history. Your right tackle, ladies and gentlemen, Darnell Wright. And I feel like all of that 100 and what was it, 14, 104 million, whatever he got, 104 guaranteed, whatever it was, absolutely deserved. This dude is a bodyguard for Caleb. Linchpin in our run game. I don't think our run game is as impactful as it was without Darnell. So I think this dude's ability to stretch the field and just be an absolute leader for us, be the best dude on our line with Joe Thuney. Love that he's locked up for life, and hopefully he's a Bear for life.
Did you see his press conference the other day when he got extended? He's kind of an odd guy. His question is
So it's what you want. It's what you want out of an offensive line.
Yeah. Some of the responses he got were definitely eyebrow raisers for sure. He's definitely an odd guy, but who cares? The guy plays football at an all-pro level. I honestly expect him to be first-team all-pro this year. So we'll see with this offensive line. I'm excited. We're now less than 5 weeks away from football, and couldn't be more excited for the NFL season to begin. Sam, any last thoughts before we get out of here?
Nada. This O-line's gonna maul some dudes this season. I'm ready for it.
Yeah. Thank God Sam Mustipher is not on the team anymore. Thank you so much for listening to the Shy City Den. We'll be back on Thursday recapping Cubs Nats and previewing the Bears running back room. For Sam Van Cleve, I am Joey Glickman. Thank you for listening to the Shy City Den.